can feel the Christmas spirit now, right? Today we're going to talk about the gift of joy. The gift of joy. Joy is actually one of the most important gifts that the spirit of Christmas, that thing that weaves itself through consciousness this time of year, that it has to bestow upon us. Joy. Can you feel the energy in the air? Okay. There's an energy in the air. If you don't believe it, just go try to drive on I-4. There is definitely an energy. And I-4 is probably an excellent example because when we're in this state of a heightened sense of energy, there's two ways we can take it. We can take it up or we can take it down. The bottom line is many of us interpret this energy level. We're like, I feel that energy as agitation. And it ends up as stress. Many people stress out during the holidays. You're going to get it all done. You'll get there. It's meant to be lifted. It's meant to be channeled as joy. The energy is there. How you channel it is the decision you've got to make up front. I can feel that which is not normal, that is kind of heightened inside of me. And I'm going to allow it to flow through me as joy. That's what Christmas is really all about. Allowing that tremendous joy to open us up. Joy is one of the big three, right? The truly dynamic spiritual energies that flow through your heart. They're all heart energies. Love, joy, gratitude. And every single one of them is amazingly transformative. If you can immerse your life in these qualities, things change. They change so much for the better. If we can just grab one and live there. So in the end, we sometimes think of joy as something that's just kind of, okay, joy is just what you do when everything else is done. It's just having fun. It is a lot more than that. It's one of the true, powerful, primal spiritual energies that comes out of your soul. So in the end, I'm talking about maybe two different stages of joy, two different aspects of it. There's human joy. That's when we decide things are going right and we go, wow, this is great, and we blow it all off. You know, the whole idea is just to have a momentary flash. And then there's the joy that doesn't happen because of anything that went on in the outer world. It's something that just rises from within your soul when you let it out. And that joy is something you can dwell in. You can live there. When you do, it's amazingly powerful in your life. Now, the beauty of the Christmas season is the joy is contagious. You know? You pick it up from everyone around you. Somebody walks into a room happy, and before long, hey, you're going there with them. You know? This joy is just picked up by everyone around you. Funny thing, love doesn't always work that way. You know, when someone walks in who's in love and you're not, you say, please get out of my presence. I can't handle this. But joy somehow seems to get past that barrier. It just feels good. And someone's laughing around you and you find yourself laughing before long. Someone's seeing the utter glory of life and suddenly you can see it yourself. It's right there. That's what joy does. It awakens you to the glory that underlies everything that's mundane. There's a glory underneath all of life. And when you're in that heightened state of joy, you actually see it. And the beauty of Christmas, of course, is that we make it real easy, because you go down and wow, that yard is stupendous. I don't remember it being quite like the fairyland it looks like now. And of course it wasn't. They put up all these lights. And so at Christmas we go around and suddenly the world seems like this phenomenal place with these beautiful lights all around. But the lights in the end are really just symbolic. The world always had this amazing glory shining through it. But when the lights are there and sparkle, it reminds us to look for it. And it's so much easier to find. So this whole Christmas celebration is set up to help us lift that consciousness of joy, and joy then lifts us. It's one of those qualities, joy, it's not just having fun. It is a soul quality. And you are not really experiencing the depth of spirituality until you're enjoying your life. The most spiritual thing you can do is enjoy your life. There are only 3 things that Jesus said, I give you my. We're going to quote the joy one in a moment, but it was peace, love, and joy. Those 3. These deep spiritual building blocks of your soul. So when you're going through soul awakening, as soul awakening starts, joy is one of the things that rises with it. And you say, I am deeply spiritual because I'm feeling very austere right now. You missed the point. Soul awakening is joyous. Suddenly you can see the glory of life. You can see it everywhere. And that just inspires more and more joy within you. So in the end, this is one of those really powerful spiritual qualities, and I'm going to put the cap on it here, that as we go through that Christmas season and joy rises in us, that's the doorway through which your miracles will come. It opens the door. When you can experience joy, when you're dwelling in joy, boy, they start to flow. In Luke 2:10, this is the shepherds, right? The angel said to them, behold, I bring you glad tidings of great joy, which will be to all the world. This is what Christmas is about. The lifting of joy in the planet. The whole consciousness of joy rising within humanity. It's an opportunity to ride joy higher and higher into what lies beyond what we call mundane. In John 15:11, Jesus said, I have spoken these things to you that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be full. Misery was never meant to be part of the spiritual path. We managed to drag it in there. We can do that. But misery was never a spiritual quality. Okay? Are we okay? We're not.
There's a car in the parking lot that's running.
That's running.
But the key isn't in there.
Someone has a car that's taken on a life of its own. It's a champagne gold Toyota Camry, Y32ZT. God is running your car. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, there's high energy in Mike's life right now. His car even starts up without him. This is great. Here's Jesus saying, I want my joy to be in you. I want your joy to be full. Your joy being full is part of the ultimate of following the Christian path. It is being in that state of the fullness of heart, absolutely immersed in joy. And Christmas is one of those times. It brings it to the foreground so we can do that. But let's get clear. We're going to go to Old Testament, Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of the Lord will be your strength. We often think joy is, well, it's kind of that mamby-pamby quality. It is not. The joy of the Lord will be your strength. Joy empowers you. When it's moving through you, you are filled with spiritual power. It's a doorway that allows phenomenal things to flow out through your heart into your life. We know joy heals. We've known that for years. Norman Cousins wrote a book on it. The bottom line is it has this tremendous healing effect on a body. It has an amazing healing effect on relationships. It has a healing effect on everything. It's a powerful force for good. Joy empowers you beyond that. I mean, the bottom line is when you're dwelling in a state of joy, you got the power to do things you suddenly find. You can do things that you really couldn't handle before. You really couldn't do before. They're coming together. It's working. State of joy. And it heightens your power to succeed in anything you're doing in life. If you're in this state of joy, you're just liable to make it. You're just liable to succeed. It's like the joy just carries you right over the line. And it generates this phenomenal charisma within you that everybody around you picks up. And they respond to it. I suppose that's the obvious part. People are filled with joy. Others open doors for them they would not have opened before. It's amazing what can happen. Now, one of the experiences of Christmas that in the end gives us this phenomenal amount of joy is that of giving, okay? Whether it's the gifts that we give to the people around us or whether it's something far less tangible that we give. In either case, there is this tremendous joy to giving, and part of the reason for that, and one of the opportunities that Christmas provides, is a chance to get beyond yourself. You know? Most of the time, we're kind of stuck in here thinking, did I get what I wanted? You know? And things aren't going like I want, da-da-da-da-da. And the moment you drop that and you think, I've got to get a gift for someone and I want to make them happy. That's what your gifts are all about, right? And you've suddenly put your attention on someone else, on what can I give to this person? Or maybe maybe you've gotten to the point where you're saying, what can I give to, I'm going to give something to everybody when I walk up and down the street. You know, I mean, maybe you can give praise. Boy, in this society, it's like we're thirsting to death over praise. And someone who's willing to, I realize Thanksgiving is over, but I was hoping that wasn't the end of praise. Get down and set your mind upon giving joy. Through my Christmas season, I'm going to give joy to everyone I can, everyone I meet. And what it does is it gets you beyond yourself. And when you get beyond yourself, joy rises. Basically, you get beyond the personal self that can do all that dreary stuff. And what is natural to your soul rises through you. You put your attention on making someone else happy, and your own joy blossoms more than you've ever experienced. That's the way it works. So, Christmas is that time when we can do that. I learned this lesson years ago, well over 30 years ago now. I was a minister at the time. I've done this a very long time. I was going through a period where I suppose clinically, if I'd gone to see someone, I would have been diagnosed as depressed. But you know, good depressed people don't go and get diagnosed. They just stay depressed and ruin the life of everyone around them. Anyway. Okay. In either case, I was going through this tremendous misery of just to dwell on what was missing in my life was amazingly painful. And I couldn't seem to get out of it. But luckily, I was a minister. And that means there were people coming to me who had problems. Real problems. Not that mine wasn't real, but whatever. People that would come and say, can you help me? And my job and what I loved to do was to help them. And the moment I started helping them work with what they needed to work with, help them get through what they were getting through, that was relief. I'm away from my pain. I don't feel any pain. In fact, there's a sense of joy that rises as I'm sharing this camaraderie with someone, trying to help them through what they're facing. I don't have to worry about me. That's called getting beyond yourself. And it's amazingly joyful. Of course, when it was done, I'd go back to thinking about myself again, and then I could be depressed. Took me a while to work on that. That was the same period where someone sent me off to their psychic, right? And you've heard me tell the story. Went off to the psychic and gave him their $100. He was supposed to balance me and make sure everything was just perfect. And when he was all done, he said, I can't really help you. He said, you need more joy in your life. And I thought, tell me something I don't know. Actually, I thought, I want my $100 back. But I did go home and I worked. Took me a year. Sometimes you can dig a very big hole for yourselves, can't you? But you can get out. And part of getting out is getting beyond yourself and helping someone else, thinking of someone else. I mean, take the approach of, well, I guess I'm never going to be happy, so how about I try to make them happy? And actually, you spend a little bit of time making somebody else happy, and you suddenly realize, hey, I think I am happy. You know, it's the way it flows. So, Christmas can give you that same relief that I got during that period of time. It's that moment in which you turn your thought to the people you love and what am I going to do and what am I going to do for this person and that person, and some of it's tangible and some of it is not. Sometimes the not is even more important. So Christmas is an opportunity to get beyond ourselves. It's an opportunity to care about others more than ourselves. And this getting beyond ourselves fills us with a great joy. It's what we've been looking for. So, here we go. How can we claim the gift of joy this Christmas season? You know me, I'm going to have a list. Number 1. Feel the heightened energy in the air and channel it into joy. This is the very first thing you've got to do. determine I'm not going to channel it into stress. I'm going to channel it into joy. You are feeling something that is uncomfortable because it's a different state than normality. Okay? It's functioning at a higher vibration. There's more going on. You can interpret that as agitation. Or you can interpret that as joy. And just choose to live there. Just choose to dwell there. Number 2, get beyond yourself by setting out to make someone else or others in general happy. Make that your goal through this season. Can you make someone else happy? When you take that on as a project, don't worry. It backfires. It makes you happy. And that's why I said maybe you can take on the project of going around and saying every place I go, I'm going to find someone that I can do or say something and make them happy. Number 3, notice the underlying glory of life. It's easy this time of year, so make sure you do it. Okay? As I said, there's lights everywhere. There's things to remind you that this world can be utterly, stunningly beautiful. So look at the lights. Cherish it. Feel how, wow. Take that beauty into your being. Feel the beauty of the day and the pristine sacredness of midnight. Feel how glorious it really is underneath all that we have taken for granted and call mundane. There's glory under there. Look at the moon. Look into the sky and go, wow. Feel the feeling in the air, the season, the wind and the trees, the beauty, the natural beauty that's all around us. And just live there. Just absolutely dwell in it. Number 4 is to cherish those who are important to you. That should be the obvious one, shouldn't it? Sometimes we get caught in the demands of the season so much that we let that one slide just a little bit. The word is cherish. It's to enfold them in your love and hold it there. Cherish those that are important to you. Your friends, your children, your parents, your lovers, or even strangers on the street. You can take it a little further. You can learn to cherish people wherever you find them. It will bring you a tremendous amount of joy. So, you're walking down the street and take a moment just to cherish that stranger that's walking down the other side. Do not walk up to them and say, I cherish you. Oh, darn. You can try it if you want. But it's likely to get you in trouble. Remember, we're talking about an internalized joy. We're talking about internalizing joy. And I'll get there in a minute. Make sure you cherish the people in your world this Christmas season. They aren't just numbers on a list that we're buying gifts for. They are exquisite beings who have made your life more special by their presence there with you. Cherish that. And number 5, take joy in your body. All this joy is running around, you really need to give some to your body. Bodies need to be appreciated. We know joy heals. Joy harmonizes. So, realize how wonderful your body has been. It served you. You're sitting in that pew. That means it's still running. Okay? Just like Mike's car. It's still running. This body has carried you through all kinds of stuff. It needs your appreciation. And take joy in the body itself. You know, originally I was pretty sure that the spiritual path was like this. You suddenly discovered that you were a spiritual being and you spent the rest of your life trying to get away from this physical world. And somewhere along the way I figured out that's not right. You always were a spiritual being. You are right now. But you came into this world to experience a physical existence. Don't demean that. It is not the whole ball of wax by any means whatsoever. But it's a piece that needs to be cherished. So we say, oh, my body is limited by its senses. Yeah, and aren't they fun? I mean, enjoy them. Take joy in your body, in touch, in taste, in the beauty you see, and the beauty you hear, like we got to do a few minutes ago and will get to do again. And of course, the last one, smell. The beauty you can smell. I remember the first time, I think Lindsay was a little girl, when I thought, well, why do we get a live tree every year? Let's just put up an artificial one, you know. I didn't realize what a barrier I was crossing. So we got it up, we got it all set, and you know what I heard? It doesn't smell like a tree. So I ordered in the spray. But next year we got a real tree. Anyway, even smell is wonderful. The ability to touch your environment that way. Well, maybe you want to just enjoy living in a body. You came here to walk through this place in this physical spacesuit. It allows you to be on this ship that we call Earth. And it's wonderful. And as you cherish your body, just like everything else, it will respond. Number 6, internalize your joy and quietly dwell there. In other words, don't blow it all off. Blow some of it off. I got no problem with that. It's fun. The dancing the other night, they were blowing off major energy. But so it's fun to blow off energy, but don't blow it all away. Internalize some of it. Dwell in it. Got all these stories from ages ago. Probably over 30 years ago. I had just finished up a 10-day retreat. The last 3 were silent. And here we are, we're sitting around, a group of us are sitting around a picnic table waiting to get in the cars and drive home. And if you've ever been on a 10-day retreat and you've reached the end, you know that, you know, you got all this energy and you've got to do something with it. And we are joking and laughing and just cutting up to beat the band, and somebody stopped by. This guy on the way stops by and says, don't blow off all the energy. Don't blow it all off. Internalize some of it. And I thought, he's telling us we can't have fun. And then I thought a moment, he's right. It's okay to blow off energy, but internalize some of it. You want to hold it there. When you're blowing it off, you're trying to bring things back down to normal. When you internalize it, you're living there. You're dwelling in it. And it'll be uncomfortable at first. Most of us are not used to living in a state of joy. But you can internalize it. And just hold it there. It'll be almost more than you can handle, but keep holding it there. And just walk around in that state. Just let that joy fill you and stay there. And then it's number 7. Feel the joy of your heart being the manger where the Christ Spirit is born. Is born this year, just as the child was born in another manger so long ago. Feel the sacredness of your inner world. The reason we celebrate Christmas is to experience a degree of Christ's birth within our own hearts this year. We don't celebrate it because Jesus needs us to celebrate his birthday. We celebrate it because we need to remember that Christ child is born in this manger that I call my heart. Right now, Christmas is still going on. There is an awakening. Feel the sacredness of what's inside of you. Why do you think Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you? If that's the kingdom of God inside of you, it's sacred. Your inner world is amazingly sacred, and your soul is magnificent. And when, through this Christmas season, if we can get beyond ourselves enough, that sense of soul rises. We call it Christ's birth. But that sacred part of your being comes to the foreground. And that is why we celebrate Christmas. Now, I've talked a lot about joy, and I'm hoping as I talked about it that you could begin to feel it rising inside of you. But like so many other spiritual qualities, talking about it ain't going to do it. So I want to end this time by, let's close our eyes and just do a little bit of this inside and generate some joy. Let's generate it from within. This is a soul quality that rises inside of you. You don't need the world to tell you you're allowed to be happy. So close your eyes and turn within. And take a moment to feel the heightened energy in the air. That same energy that's driving all the traffic, we can feel it everywhere. And channel that heightened energy into joy. Now step beyond yourself and set your sight on making someone else happy. Put your attention on surrounding someone in your love. Doing what the joy of making someone else happy. Turn your attention to the underlying glory of life. For a moment now, realize how absolutely stunningly gorgeous this physical earth is when you see it through spiritual eyes. See the radiance of God shining not only through the lights in the yards and on the houses, but see it shining through everything. And feel the joy that rises. Now, take a moment to cherish. I mean to cherish those who are important to you. And feel the joy that rises inside of you as you do so. And now channel all that joy into your body. And take joy in the body. See how wonderful touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell are. See how wonderful it is as a spiritual being to live within this physical body for this time that we have. Now internalize all your joy and just quietly dwell there. And feel the sacredness of what lies within you. You are the Christ child born this Christmas for the lightest soul is rising and shining right through your personal self. Father, for the glory of life and the joy that rises out of it, we are truly grateful. Give us the strength to live there. Amen. If the ushers will come forward, we'll prepare for our offering.